Hello, and welcome to Consumed. I'm trying to get the Roll20 to show up because apparently it doesn't want to. No.
Technical hoping.
Technical. Ah, there we go.
There we go.
What? That's weird. Okay, well, whatever. For some reason, it wanted me to click a box that I've never had to click before. Or maybe it's never been unclicked before? Who knows?
Oh.
So, we're calibrating before we jump into the show. What is that? What does that mean, Lavender? I'm feeling like this may have changed since the last time we did something.
It's pretty much the same as before.
Oh, good.
We are picking one phase of the character creation that we did at the very beginning. And this time, the phase that we're picking is a Stanies phase, where we burn things and ask questions later. And the reason I'm kind of angling for that is because we're kind of running out of questions on the board. And I kind of want to see what direction we're all interested in heading in, and then maybe if there's stuff that we've run into in the first couple of episodes that we don't want to be a part of the game anymore, then we can burn those things now, just like we did before. And I feel like this is a good time to, like, in the midst of all of the chaos of learning the game, we can throw any mistakes that we think have happened in there, if that's a thing. I'm not thinking of anything in particular. I'm just saying that as a general idea.
Okay. Interesting.
Does anyone want to burn anything? I guess we'll start with that.
Well,
yep.
I guess I'm trying to think if there's anything we want to consider a mistake that we might want to burn. But
yeah. It was more so the first thing for me, like trying to build more directions to head in.
Yeah, no, totally. I just want to make sure that we're not overlooking an opportunity here.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna jokingly be like, let's burn June. She's the worst.
June!
We'll burn martinis.
And then June will just be, like, sadder than ever.
She can't be, because martinis don't exist.
So yeah, but she's sad, but she doesn't know why.
There's nothing to fill that void.
Mm-hmm.
I almost made that joke.
Silly boy. silly boy.
All right. Well, then how does the next part go? If we're not burning anything.
I was thinking, can we burn words into questions? Because that would change the questions.
Yes, we can in a way, but burning has a second effect now that it didn't before. Where if you burn something on the board, it burns the enclosure around it. So we would have to fill that in like we did in the Unreeling.
So, like, for example, if we burned the word break, we would have to fill in that enclosure that contains break.
Yep.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Like, we could burn the word memories, and then it's just what can be lost forever. Or we could remove reminded, and then it's just who is the past. Or who is of the past. That's kind of trippy.
Yeah.
That is pretty trippy.
Mm-hmm.
Which moment is more important, Dawn or question mark?
Yes, what is dawn
no.
or the moments which have been lost?
No. Which moment is more dawn or dusk? Just get rid of important.
Dude.
Which moment is the most?
Well, that comes later. After we have to burn one of those first.
Yeah. Okay, before we move on from the burning conversation, how are we feeling about like our niche as book collectors?
Like I'm still into it. It's not quite how I felt. Like we're not really as much of a team as I thought we would be. But I mean that's
Yeah.
kind of like the competition side
Mm-hmm.
I'm
of
kind
the
of picking up on
show.
that too. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do about that, or if anything needs to be done about that. It's kind of
Right.
in my mind.
Like I'm not in the mode where I feel like throwing my weight around. So I don't really care right now if it changes.
Yeah.
Or if as we play more characters, or just like maybe it's the way that it's been framed. I don't know. We'll see how tonight goes.
Like another
It's
thing,
probably all June's fault, really.
Staney,
Oh, you were talking, Lavender. I don't want to interrupt you.
another thing is that this phase will come up again in the future, more than likely. So if it's not a problem now and it is a problem later, then we can just burn it then.
I did want to ask, since you were asking how we felt about being book collectors, that suggests like you're putting up as something we could burn. If we did burn that, what would that do to our game?
Since the title of our show isn't really involved with book collecting in particular, all of our verbs would probably stay the same, but we
If they
would just
didn't-
obfuscate and rejuvenate something else.
Okay.
And then the clients and judges would provide challenges that aren't related to book collecting, probably.
Okay. Anyway, I'm good with not burning anything. I just wanted to know.
I kind of don't have much that's coming to mind either. So I think we can go to the next part.
Okay, what was the next part? Please remind me.
The next part is Astani, you think back on all of the stuff that's burned so far, and you give all of us, including yourself, a new way that we burn things.
Okay. Am I also going to give you a new color, or is it going to be the same color?
The color stays the same.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how people burn things already.
I mean, you're a burner.
Yeah, but we don't have
Are you looking
fire.
are you looking for the burn book?
If you need to be reminded, I burn things slowly as everything I burn becomes consumed. That's what you said. I remember.
I burn
That's
things
right,
in
it
my
was.
mind.
That's right. You visualize them burning, and then they just kind of smolder out of existence. And then Kelsa's is quickly like flash paper.
Yeah,
Okay.
like flash paper.
Kelsa, you burn things with like yellow electricity.
Okay. I'll take it.
Golden, you can burn things in columns of light.
Cool.
Lavender, it's invisible the way that you burn things. It's like almost like the reverse of burning in that it's like there's light and heat, but then it gets like sucked into a void, but it sucks in the thing that you're destroying as well.
Gotcha.
That's pretty badass.
It is, really.
I gotta think of other ways to burn things.
Yeah, you got to think of one for yourself.
Yeah, burn things sarcastically.
With smoke, but no fire is how I burn things, with like blue smoke.
That's pretty cool. And then after that, what each of us do is we take the color of our brand and the burning of our brand, and we put them onto different stars.
Can you explain how that works? Because I don't remember
Yes.
that.
Yeah, this is new. This is different. So I could put my blood red color on Ruth, and I could put my consuming things invisibly into the void on Bryce. But then what ends up happening is people's colors and styles overlap with each other. So instead of me having one character that's just like, I burn things invisibly and something about that is blood red, I could have it be lightning blue like yours, or if we put it on the same character.
Okay.
It's entirely possible that a character will end up with a brand that's multiple colors or in multiple styles.
Okay. Then let's just start with Kelsa. Pick a star to apply your color to, and then pick a star to
Okay.
apply your yellow lightning burning.
And I should add
Hmm.
a thing. I should tell you why this will matter in a second. The reason this will matter in a second is because when we make recap questions, we will make them about certain characters, probably. And if you're putting a part of your brand on a character, you're opening yourself up to asking questions about those characters.
Okay.
So basically, put them on characters that you're interested in.
Gotcha. Let me. Yeah, no, I
have
feel
an
that's
idea.
more. I feel like that's more Ruth.
Kelsey, you're muted.
Oh. Am I? Okay, here we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. So I'm putting pale purple sky, the color of my thing, onto Ruth. I'm interested in her, and she feels much more pale purple sky than anybody else on the board. And then I put yellow lightning onto Trinity.
Okay.
Because as much as I love June, I feel like neither one of those are really her brand.
Golden, you're next.
I'm gonna put my burning on Ferdinand because I think the more he thinks about something, it just starts to fade away. All right. And I'll put my burgundy brown color on June because I'm sure there's excellent alcohol that color is.
I was gonna say it's like the color of wine. I get it. All right, Lavender.
I already have Ruth's sheet up because I'm going to put. So another thing is, if you have a style that's a brand that's already on the star you're putting your brand on, you want to merge the thing that you're putting on that star into the last thing that was there. So Kelsa on Ruth put pale purple sky, and I'm going to merge my color into that. So I'm going to make that a pale red and purple sky.
Okay, cool.
And then for the way I burn things, I feel like this goes well on Brian actually. Because Brian's pretty reserved. Consuming things into a void, into an invisible void. Those are my two.
Okay, then I will go last. I'm gonna put my blue smoke onto Trinity. And so I'm going to change it to blue smoke created by yellow lightning.
That's so cool.
And then I have my color, which is my bright cyan. And I feel like that's a very Bryce color.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it bright lightning blue. I think that's better.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I agree. I'm like looking at all of these other characters on the list, and I'm like, Bryce is probably most appropriate.
Most colorful.
And then we each make another recap question, and it has to relate to one of these three things, either to our color, to the way we burn things, or to one of the characters that we tagged with our brand.
Lavender, why don't you ask the first question?
Sure. Who am I more interested in? This isn't my question. This is a question I'm asking myself. Who am I more interested in, Ruth or Brian? I don't know. I unreeled with Ruth the last time that we played, and I feel like I played for an hour and a half with that character, so I feel pretty close to her, actually. I'm going to make my question one about Ruth, and two about kind of the meaning of the color blood red. And I'm going to make my question, how does Ruth become ruthless?
Okay.
Okay.
Golden, why don't you ask the second question?
So I got to mix two of them, huh?
Yep. And then whenever you're done, you make a circle and put it in the circle.
Yeah.
And that can be anywhere.
So, like, if I want to say, okay, so I can choose not to make it about one of the characters if I mix my color and a burning.
Yep.
Okay. I want to say something like, who are you thinking about the most? But I gotta do that. So it's like, who, when you think about them, is too bright to look at. So is who shines with a deep red. In your mind? It's not really okay, whatever.
Well, the burning in your mind is what you had before. Now you have the columns of light.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
you know, the column, we didn't say what color the column was. So my color is still the same. But a column of light is probably this deep burgundy. I'm just like trying to imagine like a dark color that's shining brightly.
Kind of breaking your mind.
My brain doesn't like it.
I feel like that's what this game is about. Is
Yeah, I was gonna say
stuff
it's very
that your
on
mind
brand.
doesn't like.
Yeah, usually my mind is okay with stuff, but not with this for some reason.
Yeah. There's a thing in Welcome to Night Vale with the description of the angels where they glow bright darkness, and that also breaks my brain.
Like I'm cool with like glowing the dark, right? Because I play enough D&D and I know about the darkness spell.
Yeah, exactly.
But this isn't that.
Yeah.
This is my question: who's shining in your mind with the deep red color?
Okay. Kelsa, what is your question?
Okay. My question is, so like my pale purple sky got changed to pale red and purple sky. So does my question have to be about the pale red and purple sky, or would it still be about my colors specifically?
It would still be about your color.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I want to actually ask. Um. God, why are all my questions about Dawn or Dusk? Uh, who does Trinity watch a pale purple sky with?
Okay. Um, Question for you, Lavender, before I ask my question.
Hmm.
Since you said I have to pick two different aspects, can I pick two different characters? Since I tagged two different characters.
That sounds cool. Do it.
Okay. um, then I put a thing on Trinity and Bryce, so I'm going to ask a question that relates to both of them. Um, how do Trinity and Bryce get lost?
That's so cool.
What layer is this supposed to be on?
I think this should be on the GM layer. Let's see, where is mine? I should put that on. Thank you for reminding me.
Should all these questions be on the GM layer?
Yeah, I think so.
Because none of them are.
Ah,
I'm taking care of it.
I'll help too.
I've just moved mine. Well,
I guess I should draw a circle too.
Yep.
Do you have any guidelines for these circle sizes? Because I know we were talking about how big things should be.
For the circles, not in particular, just as long as they're not intersecting with too much stuff. That's more
So
the
not infinitely large.
Yeah, no. Um, it's almost okay if it surrounds everything. It's the bigger problem is when it crosses over a bunch of stuff.
So that's bad, but if we move it somehow. There we go. Don't want. Okay, let's put it there.
And then I can't think of anything else that we do in this phase.
I think that's it.
Yep. And I changed how this works for my phase, which since my phase ended messily last time, we should do this now. Whenever you change characters because of my phase, you should change your roll 20 name to that character, because otherwise things get really confusing.
Okay. Then
So I've already changed mine to Ruth because I checked and that's who I was last time. Stamy,
Yes,
I think
I am.
Trinity last
Yep,
time,
I got
and
it.
I think
Kelsey's June again. Kelsey's really into June.
June is good.
uh, June is the worst and I love her.
Yes.
Like, you got no room to talk, Estini. Like,
What are you what are you getting at?
Ray is the worst and we all loved him.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like June is worse than Ray was.
I mean, you're totally not wrong. You're distinctly not wrong.
Yep. And then I can see our first scene in the reality show opening up with one of two ways. I sort of changed how confessionals work from last time. I think I changed how the trigger was worded or something. So we can either open with Golden starting as a neighborhood and doing the upbeat intro, or we can start with a confessional because we have all these questions from chat from our last game.
I would be curious to see how the confessional works.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah. Also, same. Do you have a handy dandy list for all these questions from chat from last game?
Yes, they're in the episode 2 notes. Someone else started it. I'm not sure who it was, but I added to it.
Okay.
Where is that at?
That's
In the notes on the journal in Roll20.
Oh, in Roll20. That's what I was missing. Aha!
And then I was just in a neighborhood for 2 episodes, and I have a lot of dots from that, so I don't particularly need more. So if you need dots, I think you should confess first. As much as I want to confess.
I feel like I need dots, because, like, all of my dots are crossed right now.
Yeah.
So I will confess. Go to... No, not Bryce. Get out of here. June. Reality channel. Chat asks you a question. Here we go. Interject. Like the voids between dreams, the dark chamber sifts my memories, and rotate through these. Confess a question that's entered your mind, thank the specific enterer for the question, and tell them to start lurking. Oh no, we don't have the enterers. Thinking of enterers. Hey Outro, thank you for joining us. Provide your own commentary on the events of the reality show that pertain to you. Share a confessional seat. And that's where I share with somebody else, I guess.
Yep.
Pick a question, okay. And cut to the footage from prior episodes to contextualize concerns to get off your chest. I am going to take the question here of isn't it nighttime? And we've got June in the booth, in the confessional booth, and she's like, I cannot believe just how long all of these shoots are going. I swear I have not been outside on my own free time during the day once this week. Not even once. And it's been dark for 2 hours and we're still going. I'm here. I'm giving this confession right now. Like, this is long. This is long days and I don't like it. I'm going to then share the confessional seat. This is where we cut over to somebody else confessing, probably complaining about June. So, Trinity, what little comment do you slip in?
Is this supposed to be about June?
June, or it being nighttime, or June complaining, one of those things.
Okay, so we cut to Trinity, and she's sitting in this dark void, and it's like she's brightly lit, but it's just like this inky darkness all around her. And she's just kind of sitting there casually, her head kind of cocked to one side. And she says, you know, I really don't understand what her problem is. She's always complaining. It doesn't matter what anyone is doing. She just always has a snide little comment. I really hope she gets voted off first.
And then we cut back to June, and she's like literally mid rant. and she's like, and another thing, Trinity, I hope she gets voted off first. She's she is she thinks she's so much better than the rest of us. It's it's like she has all of these underworld connections or some other kind of shenanery, and I don't think that's fair. That's not how we're supposed to play this. This is crazy.
I think the camera captures your sense of panic with all of these little cuts to, and they're like super short, like less than a second cuts to moments in dark rooms from last time and up in the library and back and forth and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to do this until I'm interrupted. I think we cut to, there's like these little moments off screen that we haven't had context for, where for some reason they're in some sort of bar and they're having conversations with each other, and there's June scoffing at Trinity, and some grandmotherly figure we haven't seen on the show actually yet that's comforting Trinity. And that grandmotherly figure is standing right behind June as June's sitting down at a table with a Bloody Mary. And June making contact with Judith, the super floral reality real estate agent is the word I was looking for, not reality agent.
That would be a cool thing, though.
Yes.
I mean, within this
I
world,
mean-
reality agent seems like it could very well be a thing.
How do you get houses? Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
they got to be real first, so you got to make sure you go to your reality agent.
I mean, if
Get
I can
some
buy an
reality.
entire reality for a few $100,000, that sounds pretty cheap, honestly, considering all of the things that are in a reality.
But don't you have to make all the things in there real first? That's how they get you with all the.
Yeah, maybe
all
it's
the
not
add-ons.
real until you sell
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I guess it's the changing hands of currency that makes things real in this world.
That is so like dystopian capitalism. I hate it. Thanks.
Yes.
I didn't come up with that.
Does anyone have something to interrupt me with, or should I keep going?
Well, I'm stuck until we get to something where, well, you know what? Actually, I think we can interject. I can interject here with my other half of confessional. Nobody knows what you're really thinking. So the camera is gonna capture that moment that we were just describing a second ago, with this grandmotherly woman standing behind June, and June is like watching her stand up for Trinity, and then is like, we cut to like we cut to her like looking at them like having a moment together, and like just like this sour look on her face as she like sips on her uh Bloody Mary, and like it's very clear that there's jealousy there, um, and yeah, she's trying really hard to keep it together, and then finally, we get her like getting up and going and um, getting a drink at the bar, um, getting the getting a martini and kind of sharing it. Um, so there's this moment of like shared appreciation for just a second, uh, and then the uh, the camera cuts to uh, oh gosh, blah, blah, blah. Who are you playing, Estini? Um,
Was it last time?
yeah, during the
In
unreal.
the Unreeling?
Yeah, that was Ferdinand,
Ferdinand.
right? Yeah, yeah. When Ferdinand and Trinity are walking down the stairs, but like the camera's not on them. The camera is like looking up at them from the ground floor, so, so you can like see them in the window walking a long way down from this. What did we say it was on the top of a bridge? Um,
It was like in the support beam of it or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
walking down the support beam of this bridge from where the bar was, we just get like this moment of we don't hear what they're saying. We can't really see anything other than the two of them are like walking next to each other, and so then there's like that that music of like we've captured a uh, we've captured a candid moment, and we don't really know what's going on, but maybe.
Can I interrupt with a confessional?
Yeah, I'm waiting to too, but go right ahead.
Okay. I'm picking the show part. Nobody knows what you're really thinking, so well, it says it camera captures this, framing the moment you're reacting to. What does that mean?
Okay, so you go back to one of the moments that have been described and you put it on camera, describing all like the camera angles.
Okay, then I don't think I want to do that.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead with mine and
Yeah,
then you
go
can
for
bounce
it.
off with that? Okay.
Maybe.
So I think maybe we have this candid moment, and then everything feels really sentimental for a moment which can't last forever in a reality show. And then we see a new character enter the confessional room. Um, this grandmotherly figure is the person we've just seen, but have had no context for. And she's this like go-getter grandma, and she has these blood red, um, this blood red suit, these blood red mirrored sunglasses that actually reflect the camera back on itself.
That's not creepy. Don't worry about it.
It's very creepy. Yeah.
Said don't
And
worry about it.
um, she gets to the center, sits down, looks at the camera, and says, I just got back from what feels like a vacation. The floors in this place, in this bar, and I haven't been into a bar for such a long time. It's usually just my wife and I drinking together at home. I've never seen hardwood floors like this. It's almost like I can't tell if it's stone, if it's metal, or if it's wood. Maybe some sort of a laminate. It has to be synthetic because I've never seen anything like this. And my wife's a real estate agent. That's me confessing to the question, what's the floor made out of? And I can't remember whether Outro or Safeguard asked that question. But whichever review it was, you stop entering and you start lurking. That's me asking that question. And then I provide my own commentary on the events of the reality show that pertain to me. And then I say, Trinity, she sort of feels like my daughter or my granddaughter or something. I feel like I have this special connection to her. And it feels strange for me to feel possessive of another person. So I'm trying to work on that. But Trinity, what comment do you slip in at this moment?
So we cut again to Trinity. You can't see the stool or the chair that she's sitting on, but she's sitting on it like kind of cross-legged with her hands like on her ankles. And she just kind of looks up and she says, Ruth? I like Ruth. She seems nice. She's not a bitch, so I guess that's good. Yeah, she helped me make up with June, I guess, so that was a thing. And I drink a martini. Just kind of shrugs.
We see that little scene where Ruth like takes June by the arm and like points really aggressively at the bar. And then we cut to June being next to Trinity at the bar and them talking without words being heard on screen. And we see dirty martinis being passed to each other at this bar. And I think June sips first, and then Trinity maybe lifts it up and then sips second. I'm glad that there's more to June than everybody thinks there is. Don't discount June. And then I think Ruth does like a little move where it's like a look at the camera, then a look away, then a look, half of a look back to the camera, but then looking down to the side. And then that's when she pulls her mirrored sunglasses off and then folds them up and then puts them away into their coat. I am open to being interrupted.
Can I even do this as a neighborhood?
Yeah, I think you can, because it seems like if you wanted to do the upbeat intro, you could start the scene in a new place.
So, like, I could just interrupt out of the confessional.
Yeah, whenever the triggers happen, you can interrupt.
Aren't we still in the calibration, though?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, that's my fault. I never actually hit the transition button to put us over into the show.
Oops, that's okay.
I
I'm not
apologize.
even looking at that. I'm just confused by the universe,
Yes.
how it is.
As soon as we finished asking our questions and putting our circles on the board, that was the end of calibration.
Yep.
Yeah, and I should have moved us over then, and I apologize for not having done so.
Yep. Maybe I can kind of cue that a little bit better in the future. It's okay.
Yeah, like maybe there's like a key phrase or something that we can say, like I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We can figure it out.
Some kind of phrase, some kind of something.
I just don't want to use all my bandwidth watching the stream.
That's fair. I totally get that.
So Golden,
Also,
if you wanted to start the scene now, that would be great. If you want me to keep talking,
I don't want to interrupt
figure it out.
your confessionals, really.
Mhm.
I feel like you need to be interrupted by somebody at least once.
Well, I mean, none of my. I mean, other than we could just do a
Okay.
huge cycle of confessionals.
Okay, so it kind of needs me to. Okay. I feel like this need to build off of what Lavender is saying for the first scene, but also I feel like we gotta go back to the library and finish that off, right?
If that's what you want to do, then that would be cool. And then you wouldn't have to do that move in particular, because then the scene would be starting in a place that we've seen before.
Well, I was thinking about doing it out on the street, so it's not really what we've seen before.
Okay.
All right, let's see what this happens when I press this button. Also, I was thinking about clicking on remember one of your memories. If you guys talked about one of these things, these memories in
Right.
your confessional, so I was kind of listening for that, but I wasn't sure if I was able to break out.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do this. The scene starts with flashes of the neighborhood. You see, you're out on the street in front of the library, waiting for June's truck of books to come in. There are graffiti artists spraying on the sidewalk. There are some kids like beatboxing, and there are these different cars going by. This is the future, so everything is like really sleek and shiny. Let's see, what can I do? Then put your memories in the scene. Okay. Yeah, lurkers, what object in this scene are you disguised as? Keep it a secret. So, I think we can see the Iron Helix Skybridge in the background. It's like looming over the library. And they're kind of like, there's no off ramps, so we just see cars driving off the Skybridge and floating down to this little street. And it's kind of surreal. Okay, how do I introduce conflict? I tell you what situation you're in?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're all waiting for June's truck to pull up in this like large loading zone in front of the library when this red convertible drives up and just parks in that space. And you're like all watching, like what's going on? And you see Jolene just step out of the car.
Oh
She's
no.
got her hair in curls, and she's wearing these mirrored sunglasses. She's got this smile, like, "Oh, this is my spot." Oh,
This screws over June, so I'm fine with this.
Of course you would say that. It's fine. It's fine.
and she like barely even looks at you. She just like walks up the stairs into the library. Do you make way for her?
Heck no.
Okay, cool.
You know what? My talents can solve this problem. We're gonna side eye.
Oh, wait. We didn't name the episode. Is that a thing we were supposed to do?
Oh,
That's why I was confused.
I
I
know
noted my face.
I know what this is. This episode is called First Part 2.
Fine with me.
I'm gonna update the stream with that.
But
Oh
that
my
is the canon
gosh.
rule for what I think it is. Like, if you don't do Golden's phase in between 2 episodes, it's a 2-parter.
Okay. So
Okay.
we can still use. Well, we can't use first because it's not a verb.
We really need to make our next one a verb.
Part
right?
is a verb.
It is.
Are we allowed to use part?
I don't think so.
I didn't think
Unless
so. either.
we all think that's okay.
It doesn't seem in the spirit of the game.
All right, I've updated it. Very important. Okay, so anyway, interrupt with the camera closes in on June. She is livid. You see her like death glare at Jolene, and as she goes to just march up the stairs, like June is there in the way. Like, it's not entirely clear if she was in the way the entire time or if she moved herself to be in the way, but it doesn't matter. The point is that she's in the way now. And when Jolene like comes up to her, she's like, "Excuse me, I don't think so. You can't park there. We're waiting for a delivery."
I think Jolene just stares at you like shocked that someone's actually in her way.
"Move your vehicle at once."
I don't think so. I have a meeting with the owner of this establishment.
"Then I'm sure he'll understand that you need to find parking that is in a more acceptable location."
I want to interrupt. My
Okay.
talents can solve this problem.
Good.
And the problem is that June might actually get her way, and that's not okay. So I
I'm not
think
even
that
mad.
the camera cuts to Trinity just kind of standing out in the parking lot as the truck pulls up. And they're like honking, like, we can't park in our loading zone because the car's there. And Trinity walks up, and I'm gonna use obfuscating the truth, and say, "Yeah, they don't need your books anymore, so just take them back."
Oh no! Oh
Yeah, she had to cancel. She can't really take books, so you're just gonna have to. I mean, there's no place to unload them anyway, so you're just gonna have to take them back where you got them from.
no!
The camera frames the 3 of us as Ruth finally comes up to the 2 of you. Our aspect ratio is a wretched ratio. It's a 1/3 aspect ratio. I love how Stamy always like cringes whenever I give weird aspect ratios because that's what I do too. I also hate it that much. It's kind of why it's in the game.
I love it. It's just the aspect ratio of a scroll, an ancient scroll.
Yeah.
But it's like
There
I'm
you go.
imagining it on a normal widescreen TV. So basically, you have like a little box of this, and then all these panels of black on either side. I'm just like, no. It's like watching someone's cell phone video where they shot it
Right.
upright
Oh, right.
in widescreen.
That's what I was kind of thinking of too. It's like this bullshit.
It's the worst.
So I think the only way the editors can like fit all 3 of us in the same screen is to put us in 3 boxes.
Okay.
So Ruth is in the middle, June is on top, and Trinity is at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And we see Ruth in the middle looking back and forth in this horrible little box. And they say, "You really need to stop imagining this horrible aspect ratio. This is gonna break me." Okay. looks at the two of you, and she goes, I can't believe I have to get in between the two of you again. Didn't you make up from last time, or is this... I mean, relationships aren't perfect.
I didn't do anything. I've never done anything wrong in my entire life. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think when June looks away from Jolene, Jolene just like, turns sideways and just walks past you up the stairs.
Of course.
Gives you a little bump.
That sounds right.
What's your name? Are you a part of the reality show? And I'm looking up at Jolene.
You're asking Jolene?
Yeah.
I think she just sneers and says, why would I do that?
I want to interject something, but I don't think there's actually a move for this. But let me describe it, and you can tell me.
Okay.
I want it to be one of those why would I do that? And then it cuts to her signing the contract to join the reality TV show. That happens after this scene takes place, but before the show airs.
That's cool.
I don't think there's a mechanic for that, but let's just say that happened because it amuses me greatly.
Yeah, I feel like there almost should be a free form, two free form things that you can interject with. I don't quite know how that works yet either, but I feel like you should be able to do stuff like that. And then maybe it cuts back to Ruth, and then Ruth's... I feel like this maybe... I'm trying to figure out the timing on when she gives up on the mirrored sunglasses. Because I feel like... Because Jolene has the mirrored sunglasses, I feel like they're almost the same. The same mirrored glasses as Ruth's.
Interesting.
So... Yeah, maybe Ruth doesn't have the mirrored sunglasses like she had all during our unveiling. Because in the confessional, she tucked those away. And now that we're here, she doesn't have them on at all. And instead they're on Jolene's face. And what the fuck is that all about? And yet we have that recap question on the board, which says, how does Ruth become ruthless? And if I answer that now, then the next time we recap on it, we have something to recap about.
I see. Yeah, that's how this works, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think Ruth takes Trinity, takes June, takes herself, and walks up the stairs and just fishnets Jolene up into this building. And she just takes all four of us up there. And I think that's maybe where the signing happens. Because we get up there and then Ruth is making a scene with Jolene. Actually, maybe trying to hard sell Jolene that being on the reality show is a good idea.
All it costs is your soul. What?
You weren't using that. We all know that.
I mean, June wasn't.
Look, Jolene, do you have any experience in entertainment? Do you want to be an entertainer at all? Because I know of a lot of people who do, including me.
I never really thought about entertaining someone else besides me, darling.
And I think Ruth puts down like 4 contracts, has to step away to get the rest of them. It makes a more perfect trip. And
I think while you're gone,
yep,
Jolene will edit one of the contracts.
Ooh.
hmm,
Ooh, okay. That's interesting.
that's cool.
I think it's the future, so she probably has like a mini photocopier in her pocket. It comes out like unfolds,
As she do.
and it like scans with the contracts, and then she's able to like use some kind of matrix hologram thingy to move some words around, prints out a new one, puts it in its place.
I'm picturing it's like a 3D printer, except like it prints the paper with the words on them all at the same time.
Yeah.
While Ruth's sort of away in the scene, I have a question to ask Kelsa and Estini.
Okay.
Are you making your lines for your moves?
I made mine, yes.
No.
Okay, cool.
What line was I supposed to
When
make?
you're interrupted, go to the token layer and polygon a line.
It's how
Right.
you made the line before. I haven't changed how that works yet.
Polygon align.
So are you happy with your
If
work?
you're no.
Oh,
See. Cross any X's with challenges you've dealt with. I didn't deal with any challenges. And cross one line per verb your work encompasses. I mean, I did do that, so I get across one line. Does it matter whose line it is?
no.
Okay.
It's better for the flow of the game, I think, if it's Golden's, but Golden might be stuck in a move. I'm not remembering.
Yeah, I'm stuck in a move.
It's okay.
Until someone says one of my memories.
What are your memories? Do we know them?
I randomly chose Golden anyway.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not randomly, but
There are things like the vest with large pockets, the sky bridge.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. They're the same as our style. It's memories.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
They're on the character sheet.
Cool. I'm gonna pull that up so I can keep an eye on that. So
Mhm.
that way, I can help you out.
yeah.
Or you could just avoid them all.
No, well,
I mean that's rude though.
knowing how to trigger stuff helps us trigger it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay, let me put my.
And since it's my turn, I should really try to hit Golden's trigger.
Okay.
Take a look at what memories you have.
Or we'll just calibrate again in 10 minutes.
Yes. You said at the beginning there was the Iron Helix Skybridge among us.
Yeah, it's like looming overhead.
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe I don't know what this is called, but it's like the glass dome in the center of rooms. Like usually it's like in churches or something like that. The glass dome at the center that you can see through, and I feel like here, since we're in this space, we look up, and the Iron Helix Skybridge is actually obscuring the view of the glass dome, so we can see it from the bottom. Oh no.
I'm fine. It just hurt.
Yep. Only pain. And it's not good enough for me to just look at it as Ruth. Ruth is going to put the rest of the contracts that Jolene has to sign on the table, and kind of losing place what to do with herself, she kind of takes one of these like cushiony buttoned type seats, like seats with like the metal button type things that are
like the overstuffed kind of ones with the buttons.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Totally.
She pulls that back to the center of the room, looks up, and sees the Iron Helix Skybridge and remembers she isn't where she was when she was a much younger person. That technology has advanced.
So I think there's this music playing. It swells over everyone's dialogue. It's just this classical kind of plunking tune on a piano. And in case there's like a sense of momentum in everybody, I think we see so bad with names. We see June out on the street, trying to get that truck to come back. And we see, not sure what Trinity's doing. I think she might be like breaking into someone's car for the fun of it. Does that make sense? Are you trying to hotwire?
Just for shits and giggles.
I mean, I could be trying to break in to see if there's any books inside.
Yeah, like maybe you're in Jolene's car and you're trying to get like the books in her what's that? The glove compartment?
Glove compartment?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Ruth is just sitting on the couch watching Jolene go through like all the contracts, kind of disinterested, moving them back and forth until she, nudges the one that she faked and it catches her eye. The music is swelling as she is signing the contract. And it changes from this momentum, this driving music, into one of horror.
Uh-oh.
Let's see here. Is there something I have to do to trigger your guys's?
There's something I did that might have triggered Stainy's move if she's not stuck. I moved your dot across the line.
No, that's not. I can't do it though.
Okay, great.
I have to wait until someone crosses my dot with an X.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have access to any of those.
Golden can do that with the, what's it called? Suspense move? The suspense shot? Yeah, because that's the one where you X stuff.
I'm stuck in this until I'm interrupted.
Aha.
So.
Oh, wait.
Is that possible?
Because I'm. So I just moved the dot.
Which line did you cross?
It's hard.
I crossed a bunch of them.
Are you allowed to?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you could only cross one line.
When you're making a line, yes. But I'm just moving your dot.
Okay.
It's hard for me to know when stuff moves.
Yep.
We should probably announce it. Because, yeah.
Here. Yes.
I have so many windows open.
Like, same.
Yep.
Let's see here. In order to break you guys out of your moves, I have to dot an X or X a dot, move something across a line, and then
Yep.
Or we could just calibrate.
Yeah, I can't do anything.
Yeah, I'm
and
stuck.
You guys can't interrupt me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not stuck in a thing, but nothing.
Aren't you also stuck in an action shot?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I am. You're right. You're right. Because we went from the confessional to the
Yeah.
action shot. I am second in action shot.
And I there's no way I could get to those without doing this, which needs to be interrupted, which
Yep,
can't be
yep.
interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
All
All
right.
right, so I guess Jolene signs all
Calibrating.
the paperwork, and she signed on as a judge.
All right. What's the one that makes us do more dots?
That would be Golden's phase, and then we get to recap, which would be cool.
And get to ask questions, our new questions.
And we get to answer that question
Yeah.
that got answered.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we would.
So,
So then Golden has to describe, after Jolene signs the papers, how that destroys everything in the show, which is my headcanon.
Oh.
Jolene signs, and it literally gives our show technical difficulties.
Yeah, she goes into the back room with the producer, and everything fuzzes out.
oh my.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let's technical some difficulties then. Wait, that's not how that works. What is the name of Golden's phase? These phases have names.
These phases don't have names yet.
Oh, okay, cool.
I know
It's the phase where I ask questions.
Yes.
but I don't know the name of this. I haven't given this phase a name yet. This phase changed a little bit. The way that it works now is that Golden just asks us to recap what happened last time, and then we do that thing, and then after you're done listening to us, you go, okay, great. I think you answered this question, and this question in your recap, and we get 1 dot to put somewhere. By default, we can't put it in any enclosed spaces at all. But by telling us we recapped something, you let us into those circles. Any of the circles that you think we answered.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, let's have Adam recap first, I guess.
Sure, I would be happy to. I'm going to zoom out and so that I can see all the questions, so that I can kind of.
Also, is what happens after the show valid for recapping?
You mean the unreeling?
Yeah, because that's not actually in the show.
I mean, we did just put some of it into the show in those flashback scenes.
Yep.
So, kind of.
I think it does count because, like, we can definitely say that it's there, and I think maybe that's not canon. It's like uncanon for answering the questions. But you get to decide that.
Oh, so I'm still deciding canon and uncanon.
Yep.
But I'm deciding the question that you answered as well.
Yep.
And you can answer multiple questions.
Yes. Also, if there's some situation like we're answering both who is the first to break and what memories can be lost forever, we can put the dot in the area in between those two questions for these two Venn diagram together and overlap. Otherwise, like if I just answered who was the first to break, I could put it here, but I couldn't put it in the one where they overlap because I'm not answering the other one.
Okay.
What if
I'm
you
just
answer
stealing
two
all these
questions and they
questions.
don't overlap?
Then you can put it in one or the other.
Also, should we not fill in that circle? Should we unfill that in, since there's a lot of things that say don't put it into like a filled in thing or whatever?
We kind of filled it in an earlier version of the game, and we should decide that as a group because I don't know what the answer is. Like,
I thought we did it for aesthetics, not actually because it was a mechanic.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm sort of struggling in my own head as a playtester whether like what our policy is for like rules changes going forward. Do we keep the board the way that it was and we work with that, or do we go back and change stuff? I'm fine with either.
Well, then I have a question. If the circle's filled in, can you even put a dot in it? Is there a point to do that? Because we can't use it anymore.
And in your phase, there's I forgot to mention it when we were doing it in your phase, but if you feel like a question has been answered for good, you can, or wait, is that in your phase or is that in Golden's phase? I think that's actually in Golden's phase.
We're in Golden's phase, turns out.
Yes, we are in Golden's phase. We're trying to remember whose phase that's for. Right, because you get to make enclosed shapes when you burn things. We didn't burn anything. In Golden's phase, if Golden feels like we've answered a recap question for good, he can block it in. So this is actually kind of the way we were doing it in the first episode. So like, to go back to the question we're trying to answer, do we want to keep that circle we filled in the first episode filled in or not? I'm okay with either.
I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think in general, let's just leave it however it is.
That's fine.
Board played.
But it may happen that a rule change occurs and we want to implement it retroactively.
Mm-hmm.
But we should
I like that too.
Nominate that. We should not assume that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's times where we're. Oops, sorry, I didn't put my mic on all the way.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely times where we want to be able to retroactively change stuff for the rules, but I agree it shouldn't be the default. And if it's something that the rules change is so drastic that the way the board is set is going to be a hindrance moving forward, then mention that, and I'm sure we'll all agree to change it. But yeah, otherwise it's like not assumed, basically.
I like that too. I vote to keep the circle the way that it is.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind either way.
Okay.
All right.
I'm fine with that too.
I just primarily enjoy the joke that the question about memories being lost forever was the first memory to be lost.
And technically, it was lost, and then it was retconned back into existence.
That's true because you broke apart the question.
So it's kind of like, nuh-uh, memories can't be lost forever. I'm back. Deal with it.
And then it's lost again. All right, Lavender, I think you were.
I want to burn the word memories out first, then we can get rid of it.
Yeah. I need to actually do my recap. So there's this cool girl. Her name is Ruth. She's like trying to get everybody, particularly June and Trinity, to act together, get along as a family. It really is not her family. She's making a found family with all of these new people, and she's really enjoying it. But I don't know. I think this really reminds her of the family that she had before all of this reality show stuff happened. And since the reality show has happened, we haven't really figured out what the fate of her family is. Because I think on screen we see that Ruth gives June a ride to her house, to June's house, drops her off, but we never actually see Ruth go home. We don't know if Ruth has a family.
I mean, she's talked about her wife multiple times.
Yes. It's very true.
And if I'm not mistaken, we know who that wife is.
Yes.
And have also seen her on screen.
It's true.
Although I guess it's entirely possible that they
Maybe
are.
by family I mean daughter and granddaughter.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah. That's my recap.
All right, you recapped how does Ruth become ruthless. Ruth dropped June off, and it was far from her house. If I remember, she was just stuck walking home. Who shines with a deep red in your mind? Your child, your grandchild. And I think that's it.
Okay. Copy. Ooh, a lot of the questions I answered are outside of the box, which is
Oh,
really
no.
okay because I have way too many dots inside the box already, so that's okay. I'm gonna put this in Who Shines with the Deep Red. Why did the box go along with that? Let's
Oh
get rid
no!
Okay. Move, move, move. Roll 20. Let me move this circle. Anyway, I'm trying to get it, like technically if I wanted to, I could just leave it here, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep trying to,
Oh, and
aha!
I think both of those were canon, if that matters.
Yeah. That should be good. Boom. That's where I put mine. That's my recap.
All right,
Cool.
Kelsa, you must now recap.
Oh no. Okay. So I want to try to answer a question that's in one of the circles, and also I describe what happened last episode. So is
Mhm.
that the
It can either be earlier this episode,
okay.
or it can be last episode, or even before that.
And could be the unreeling too? Like it could
Yep.
be just anything that's happened?
It could be something that didn't happen.
Or our forever episode.
Right. Or something that has not happened yet.
That's true. You can recap that too, and then it'll be real.
Or it won't. So
Just so you know, it's a thing in the thing about the recap is that if you say it when you're recapping, it is definitely real going forward
okay.
until it's not real anymore.
Whatever that means.
That means until something like when we recap in Golden's phase in the future and stuff from that contradicts what we already said, the new
Okay.
stuff overrides the old stuff.
Or until we burn it.
Okay, well, I mean, I ask a question and I'll go ahead and answer it. Which is we're gonna see a scene of before coming to the studio this morning. Trinity and Ferdinand have stayed up all night talking, and in the pale purple light of dawn, they realize that they need to get ready for the show, and they each go their separate ways. That definitely happened now.
Wow.
You're welcome, everybody.
So you answered one question. We know Ferdinand survived the night now somehow. Actually, I think you answered two questions because also Dawn was very important. I would say Dawn being important is canon, but who Trinity is with is not canon.
I see. Well, which is more important, Dawn or Dusk, is the one that is actually inside of our circles or inside of our box. So clearly, that's where I'm going to put my circle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's supposed to be a circle. Delete. No, no.
So you only get one dot?
Yeah.
You just get to put it in a circle if you answered the question about it.
Oh, okay.
I did it.
Cool. All right,
see.
it's Danny.
It's right there.
All right. It's the same scene that Kelsa is describing, except it's through the bars of a cage. And we see Ferdinand's legs hanging through the bottom of the cage. And when they part ways to go to the chute, Ferdinand is locked in the cage.
What question is that? Let's see here.
Who will give the boy a chance? And the answer is nobody. And it can.
Ooh. I say you answered who is the first to break.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's Trinity.
Probably, yeah.
Because Ferdinand doesn't matter if he breaks or not. He's in a cage.
Maybe it does. I mean, he's in a cage now, but until something overwrites that.
But I think like putting him in a cage is breaking.
Right.
So that happened before he could break from being in the cage.
Okay.
First, the cage broke him.
My heart broke to put him in the cage. But I knew that I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, and I guess I recap too.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we are recapping with Brian, who is sitting on a commentator couch, and he's saying, I really like June. She seems so nice. And it's really it's so great. She's so focused and so driven to win this show. I don't really feel like anybody else is. She reminds me a lot of my mom. I hope I get to be in the scene with June soon.
I feel so bad for Brian right now.
That's not my main concern.
I don't. A lot of people are playing to win. I feel like I'm just playing to play. Just want to see what happens. If I win, if I lose, it doesn't really matter. Let's just keep this going on as long as it can. All right. So what memories can be lost forever? Brian's memories of his mom being mean.
Oh, wow.
Fuck.
Oh,
See,
wow.
this is what I was concerned about.
Can we still answer that question? It's been filled in.
I mean, it doesn't do anything if I answer it, I guess.
So, now that circle is an option for you to put it in that circle, but you don't have to put it in that circle, because clearly if you have more circles than that, you can put it somewhere else.
We can still put them in the colored circles.
I'm so
you can put it-
confused. I don't understand this at all then.
Okay.
I thought you said that once you fill in a circle, the question's done. It's been fully answered. You
Mhm.
can't use it anymore. So
Mhm.
how is Golden using it now?
The circle got resurrected. I mean, the question did.
So the way I'm imagining this is you can answer the question, it just won't do you much good because the circle's filled in.
So you
Like, you
can't put your circle in the circle. You can't put your dot in the circle.
Right.
But you can still answer the question.
Yep.
Okay.
Until we delete the question.
Because otherwise you could like accidentally answer questions that are filled in, and then like that's okay.
And then they
It's just
become
Yeah.
non-canon.
You just don't use it.
Just, no.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Brian's definitely reminded of the past. So where is that? Oh, that's down here. We can put that there. Remembered of his mom, of course. And
And the space and the rectangle you could put it in.
Right.
yeah.
A tiny bit.
And what one is more important? Nah, none of these. I think definitely Ruth is being viewed with that dark red color right now.
Interesting.
It's just washing away all those rough edges in Brian's mind. So let's just paste it over here. Who's reminded of the past? And that is question and answer time over.
Can't put it there
Why not?
because it's also which moment is more important, dawn or dusk, and you didn't answer that.
You mean I can't put it where it overlaps?
You can't put it in the overlap.
Okay.
Correct.
I put it in this little tiny corner.
Yeah, that's what Lavender and I were excited about. They're like, it's there.
There's anything. Anything. Yay.
This
All right.
itsy bitsy little teeny tiny tip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now we're going back to the show.
Yes.
But who is beginning?
Kelsey, you're quite quiet.
Oh, I keep moving away from the microphone because I have it at a weird spot because I'm drawing.
Mhm.
I'm almost
Art.
done with today's Inktober.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
this
I believe we
Yes.
go back to Golden,
I start.
and all of our moves are
are
open.
open again.
Okay, I guess I have to start with this again.
Mhm.
Where are we going to start now? Let me take a look here. It has to be in the box.
Starting with either the show or tell sounds good to me. Oh, I just said starting with either one of that move, either the show or the tell, sounds great.
Let me take a look. Oh,
Which
I
is what you
see.
just did.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the new place, the tell.
Cool.
What was I thinking? There are coins I want to collect. Oh yes. I think I want to introduce a new location. Do I want to do that? Yeah. I think you're on the beach watching the sun come up. It's really early in the morning, it's just the peak of dawn coming up over the ocean. And there's this, mile long stretch of beach, which has been, artistically crafted to look like a natural beach from 100 years ago, back when there were still clean beaches. We can see little robots out in the ocean grabbing pieces of plastic and chunks of floating concrete. And so the water that's, coming up to shore is, fresh and clean and smells like the sea. There's like even little snails and seaweed that they're crawling all over. We see like a director's chair off in the distance that Jillian is sitting in, surrounded by cameramen. and they're taking pictures of all of you as you're preparing to start this new day.
And like the voids between dreams, the dark chamber sifts my memories. I love watching the sunrise, especially with my wife, because the thing that I love most about it is that sun is not an electronic light. It is a pure light that's in the sky. It's natural. It I feel like I don't need sunglasses to look at the sun. Even though I wear sunglasses inside all the time because I hate electric lights. I feel like the backs of my eyeballs are going to explode out of my head. I can't. And I think that's me answering the question from chat. Are the lights strobing? And no, because we are looking at the sunrise. I'm ready to begin again with Jolene. Our first meeting was a little tense, but I'm ready to do what she asks.
Okay. I think now that you've all like had your opening shot, she pulls out, or like I guess like some stagehands bring in like a truck, like not the actual truck, but like the truck trailer. They just drag it across the sea, and it's full of like surfboards and you know windsurfing stuff, um, like snorkels and fins, and she wants you to compete at windsurfing. Like putting buoys out in the water to make like an obstacle course.
Cool. I'm always ready to try something new because this is still my move. If you stop doing anything in life, you're never going to fully enjoy what you have of it left. And that is true regardless of what age you are, who you are, how much you're enjoying your life already. Squeeze your life like it's an orange. June, what little comment do you slip in?
Oh boy.
And I have a question. Do you want to do this as your own confessional, or do you want to sit next to me in the seat?
Yeah, why don't I sit next to you in the seat?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, uh, what was it? Something about living your life like an orange?
I feel like that's what June hears.
No, I think that's what I think that's what she turns to. That's what she turns to Ruth and says, like, what was that? Something living your life like an orange. I don't. I'm afraid I don't really understand you, Ruth. Was that supposed to be deep?
June, I don't care what you have to say because that little contraption over there just recorded everything I just said, and I know I didn't say live your life like an orange.
That's very much what I heard.
I think we can finally. Maybe we've just been doing this the whole time, but Ruth rolls her eyes if we've never been able to see it because of the
Right.
sunglasses.
Turns out she rolls her eyes a lot.
Yeah.
Especially around June.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure.
Are you ready to go windsurfing?
Definitely not, but I don't really have a choice, so I suppose I'll see you out there.
The best woman win, and I'm like looking at you and away from the camera to shake your hand.
I hair flip and stand up.
That's amazing.
I think we mentioned that June's the worst.
Yes. You're allowed to do that.
I'm allowed to be the worst? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
It'll be even better when one of us steals June from you and starts being June.
And being the worst?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
To you.
Good. Yes, please. I ask for this specifically.
Yes. Oh my god. Is anybody going to interrupt me yet, or I can keep going?
I don't
can
have
find
anything to
stuff.
interrupt you with.
Okay.
Yeah, no one mentioned my my memories, so I can't stop.
Okay. Cool.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I tried to leave. This is maybe like. It's almost like that point in The Good Place where you realize things are wrong with this show. And so June leaves the confessional room. Just like you expect there to be a door or something. And then eventually, like, Ruth's being on camera face turns off into like returns to like a default face. She stands up to follow June out of the confessional room, out of the dark chamber, and finds that she's trapped in a metal cage.
Oh no.
And like there's a door there, but there's like a padlock on the outside of it. And
You know, your talents can solve this problem. I guess. I'm gonna steal that padlock.
it's true.
The camera
Go ahead with
closes
that.
in on Trinity. She is looking towards the space where June just walked out of. Knows that Ruth is supposed to be in there too, and never came out. And we see her run off camera and towards the dark chamber. And she puts her hands on the bars. She's like, Ruth, you're locked in here.
Trinity, get me out.
Oh, I've been interrupted. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt.
I didn't get to use any of my verbs, so do I not get to make a line?
You can continue with your action shot after I interrupt with the music.
So you would always be able to make a line. It's
Okay.
just you wouldn't be able.
I don't cross any other lines. Okay, I'll just go ahead and make my line. I'm not happy with my work because I didn't get to do anything. So
Right.
just tiny little line right here. Perfect.
Okay, hold on. Let me see how I need to. Oh, I need to be able to draw stuff to do stuff to you. Okay. Yeah, I think there's like tense electro music as you are picking this lock, and I think as you're picking the lock, we see a timer start on screen, and it stops at like 15 seconds when you pop the lock. There's no explanation at all for this timer. And when the timer stops, the music stops.
Okay.
Um,
The camera captures Ruth stumbling out of the dark chamber and into, like, maybe this is almost like I stumble out of it and then I turn back around and this is a tent on the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Um, I think the artistic statement I'm making with the aspect ratio, the camera angle, and the closeness is that what we see is right in that like tiny, like, imagine the aspect ratio is like this. The tent where we are and like Trinity's down here. This might not be showing up on stream, so I shouldn't do this. Um, Trinity and Ruth are outside the tent in the bottom part of the screen, and there's this like huge pale like violet red sky because we're getting up at dawn to do this challenge. And what all of this is saying is that to us this was like a big deal because Ruth was trapped in a fucking confessional room. But then in the like in like the opinion of the show, this is just like no big deal anymore. This is just gonna happen all the time from now on. Is what kind of what I think the show is trying to convey to us as watchers. Like, no big deal. They're little tiny people at the bottom of the screen. Look at the sky. Weird. So then I think we get out of there, and then Ruth looks to Trinity, and you're like holding your. What are you breaking the lock with?
I don't think we get to see that.
Oh, that's cool.
Uh-huh.
Ruth maybe stumbles into you, and like this is still the same shot. Like the audio is pretty clear. Like we can hear most of this conversation pretty well, I think. But Ruth goes, Trinity, I knew I could count on you to get me out of here. You seem really
click.
clever.
The player pauses mid-sentence.
Ooh,
Ooh.
get the fun move. This is my favorite move of the whole game.
Interject with behind the voice of the neighborhood. Time itself seems to reverse and echo. Improvise a poem. Why can't I read these things before I click on them? This is. I like poetry, but this is a little bit of a push here.
Fine.
It's okay. It helps.
Okay. What is the poem supposed to do? With your interjection as the first line. So behind the voice of the neighborhood, time itself seems to reverse and echo. We alliterate with the last line. Questioning the weird forces rampant in your reality. Possess the stars, what do you do that rhymes? With repeat your last line. How do you revel in pain? Lurkers is almost like I know what you wrote. Okay. You may threaten the stars with what they fear most, then become an enterer. All right, chat, you gotta post some nasty stuff here. It's up to you, chat. I'm gonna copy and paste this into chat. Yes. I don't know what enterer is, but it's probably bad.
Stop lurking and they enter their thing into chat.
Chat, you're gonna invade the chat game. All right. So, let's see if I can at least do one line. Behind the voice of the neighborhood, the time itself seems to reverse and echo. Between these silly games the producers put you through, there's a moment to recollect and plan. Beneath the lights of the city, yeah, I think it's you've got gathered in June's house to plan your first real heist
Oh,
or
that's
first real
interesting.
crime. Because nothing binds people closer than committing a crime together.
Wild.
I feel like that's accurate.
You know what's fascinating? That last move that Ruth did put her on brand. And now we get to explore what being on brand looks like.
How did that happen? Tell us more about both mechanics of changing from changing to being on brand and also what you can do now.
Mhm. Because I confessed, I put the pale red and purple sky down as concealing what Ruth is trying to express to everyone because it was like pushing down on everything. And yeah, um, that meant that I had no styles left. When I don't have any styles, the sheet detects that and
Mm.
throws all of my normal moves away and puts um, all of my on brand moves on screen. One of my moves says, "You lose everything," and I feel like I should click it.
You would know.
Mhm. Interject with my brand reflects light all over, underscoring the shot with blank. Okay, my brand reflects light everywhere, underscoring this shot of us being together in the room with just like a fun atmosphere. It's almost like there's an unseen disco ball in the room or something, but the lines aren't going in a perfect circle. They're kind of like doing this kind of shit. Um, and I show us the horror of the spotlight.
Mm.
Um, so since Ruth is on brand, um, their her brand has taken over, and she becomes a silhouette. And I I show all of us I say, it wasn't even our fault that we couldn't participate in the challenge. They just, something happened, and now we're here. And now I think they're punishing us for something that they made us, that they skipped past for us when they asked us to do it. What doesn't seem fair to me at all. I'm, what's happening? and June is like a dark red, like blood red silhouette.
I see Golden pressed a button.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to interrupt me. I feel good.
Oh, I'm muted.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Okay.
The music abruptly switches to like someone playing chopsticks off tune. It's like an off rhythm. And you find yourself like tapping along as if, yeah, like even though it's off rhythm, oddly comforting. And all of you are tapping along to it. So I think it's Trinity. You're gonna pull out a map. I don't know if you already had this map or if it was given to you when we time skipped, but it's a map of all the metal cages in the city. And we can see that 3 of them have something in them.
Can I interrupt here?
Yeah.
Chat asks you a question. Is we cut to Trinity in the dark chamber. There's no light except for she's brightly lit, but there's no light in the chamber. And she's looking directly at the camera, and her normal calm facade is gone. And she says, I don't understand. I did what you asked. I did what you wanted me to. Why are you making me do this? What's happening? And the question I'm answering is, could it be an O who broke?
Ooh.
Ruth, would you like to share the confessional seat? What little comment do you slip in?
It's all hopeless. If they've stacked the game against us.
Thank you to, I think it was Outro who asked that question. Thank you,
Mhm.
Outro, for asking that question. Start lurking. You already are, but go back and lurk some more.
Lurk harder.
I think we also see footage of Trinity locking Ferdinand in the cage. I don't know if I have anything else to do with my move. Someone interrupt me, please.
I'm stuck until someone crosses my line.
Can I interrupt myself?
No.
Okay.
Does the circle crossing lines count for something?
Yeah. I feel like that could work.
I mean, that circle just got created, but so I can press a line crosses yours. I just can't let this happen. Okay, I can ask the lurkers. Lurkers, if it's almost like I know what you wrote, tell me how your tendrils embrace my heart and then become an enterer. Ooh, interesting. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Have an embarrassing meltdown. Who's that just walked in? Scheme and conspire revenge. Wait, if the line that crossed yours closed a shape, I mean, it was a circle, so is that already a closed shape?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so choose this one instead. Hit a climactic moment, choose one recap question, and answer it outright. Leave no mystery or doubt behind it if you can. And does this have to be one of the ones that's in the ratio box?
Yes.
So
it would be the Dawn or Dusk one. And
Who's the First to Break is in there too.
Yep, it is.
Um,
And just the very tip of the question mark of who is reminded of the past.
well, I mean, more of the circle is in there, but I guess the physical question has to be in there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, so the answer to who is the first to break is definitely an O. It's definitely an I. It's definitely one of our horrible viewers. Um, like no offense, outro. But we we can't see this on camera, but we can feel it in the air and in the atmosphere, and everything that we see is now like the rest of the scenes are all like kind of the camera looks like it's broken, and like everything is just slightly off center, like a
A Dutch
unbalanced
angle or
pictured.
something.
Yeah. And it's there's like a slew of like we get like a slew of angry letters that like pour across the screen like fan mail, um that is like um unacceptable, 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 and it doesn't really explain what is unacceptable, but there's just like a pile of these letters, and the camera doing its janky thing, and the cracks across it as everyone goes about their business. Um, oh
I'll
hey,
go. I'll go
good,
ahead and
perfect.
interrupt you. Nobody knows what you're really thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we get another shot of Trinity locking Ferdinand in that cage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment like it focuses really tightly on her hands as she's like closing the padlock, and then his hands coming through the bars and touching her hands. And then the screen that we're watching on just goes like cuts to static. So I'm gonna remove my staticky screen and do a thing.
Yeah,
A
so I
dot.
think
Put a dot.
hmm, I think in the static we see some of the clients and judges appear. We see General Harder appear. Is this really what I named him?
Yeah.
I don't. I think I misspelled it,
It
but
was
right
either
now he's
Carter or you said General Carter.
Carter was probably it. I'm kind of like General Harder. He's like what? A little bit weird though. I'm gonna change it. It's General Carter. General Carter shows up. He's got some you know military guys with him, and also we see Arwen, who is drawing on scrolls with calligraphy pen, and they're rolling them up and putting them down the barrel of the assault rifles. And General Carter's like, Trinity, well done. You filled one of the cages. As a reward, we're going to tell you what the O's want. They're desperate. They need you to stop him. And then the static stops as if it's been interrupted somehow. How do you handle the pressure, Trinity?
I don't think I do. I'm freaking out.
Well, this was a recap, right? So the recap, there's a lot of scenes going on. Okay. So everyone's being quiet, so I think I will click on this button. The clients/judges seem underwhelmed. Um, let's
Did
see
they
here. The
really
music.
clarify what they wanted us to do?
No.
No, they
Also,
didn't.
I realize we're over time.
Yeah.
Oh
What's the
no.
wrap
Okay, it's a
up
good place to
move?
stop. I can't play it though because I'm in the middle of another move.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
just going to break the rules. It's a good stopping point. Okay, the music fills us with suspense and confusion because this is not what's supposed to happen. Drawing the scene to a close. Yeah, the music is just really confusing, and it's going to continue being confusing until I'm interrupted. We're just watching Trinity like be confused about what to do, and the music becomes increasingly discordant until it starts just playing an outro song that Dark Lavender Void has composed.
awesome. And I feel like this is definitely a cliffhanger. So that
Is
means
it
you
cliffhanger?
have to
Okay.
go to the map layer and pick a memory, and then copy it to your memories list, and then draw a rectangle shape.
Really?
Just
Yeah.
reading what it says on the thing.
Yep.
What's the memory? Is it any of these,
It says pick one.
like these things? So like the wood paneling? I could pick that?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right.
I want to pick.
Does it have to be one inside the box? Yes.
It has to be one sided box? Okay,
It
that
has
makes
to
it
be inside the
easier.
box.
I'm gonna pick. Come here, bakery. We're gonna have a bakery.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Not sure what's cooking, but it
I'm glad
smells
you
good.
picked that because when I drew this box, I was very careful to include the fresh rain and the bakery. So I'm glad you picked the bakery.
Come here, bakery. I'm clicking on you. Well,
It should
Are
be
you
on
the
the
map layer?
yeah, I am on it.
Is it on
I had it
GM
selected.
layer.
I had it selected. I was on the GM layer. I had selected and then unselected itself. All right, we're zooming in. I have to say, is this really weird that you
here?
can
Oh,
only
you got-
play this game on Roll20? All right.
I feel that.
Or with lots of pieces of random bits of paper and stuff.
Yes.
So I will add the bakery.
Or strings and like thumbtacks. I could see you could also do it with that.
Okay, I guess I should have ended it a long time ago. I'm actually not sure how long this runs.
It's supposed to run for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I just looked up and it's like, oh, we're over by like 15 minutes. Oops.
Okay, so it's like 15 minutes, not like 45.
No,
All right, cool.
yeah,
You're good.
you're
We good.
not bad. All right. So in that case, we're gonna go ahead and actually transition over to that music and say goodnight. Thank you everybody for coming out and being our little lurkers, and we'll see you in the Unreeling next week. Come to YouTube for that. Exactly.
Last one was really fun.
It's up on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I got to see it before we started.
All right, well, let's go.